Madam Speaker, to the Minister of Health, I understand that the government is spending large amounts of money to contract out air ambulance flights instead of having the flights done at lower cost by our in-house Life Flight air ambulance service. Such contracts can now be for as many as 15 days a month. For a government which is obsessed with every dollar spent to make sure it's done in the most efficient and effective way, why is the government spending such large amounts of money for private contractors when the services could be performed better and at lower cost by Life Flight?
Right. Good question.
The Honourable Minister of Health, Seniors and Active Living.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. I actually take some encouragement from the member's question because he seems to be implying that he's willing to take a value for money approach in order to ensure a high level of service provision for Manitobans while keeping the service safe. If that is indeed what he's saying, I would say to him, he seems to be on the right track, because this is exactly what the government is doing, looking at how to sustain this service, keep it strong, and ask the questions that the former NDP government refused to ask, spending more, but getting less service and less value for Manitobans.
The Honourable Member for River Heights on a supplementary question.
Madam Speaker, it is the problem of the government that it doesn't consider value for money. Indeed, the government is the cause of the problem, as it has been slow to authorize funds to recruit, hire, and train pilots. I understand the cost of contracting out the services is adding up to about $360,000 a month, which is a large extra cost when the cost to train an additional pilot is only $26,000. Why is the government spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month when it could be spending much less bringing new pilots on board and have a higher quality and lower and more cost-effective service for the province of Manitoba?
The Honourable Minister of Health, Seniors and Active Living.
Madam Speaker, I want to be clear that under the NDP, every year for the last 5 years of their time in office, they were procuring more and more of these flights from private carriers, more every year than the year previous. So we inherited this system that is very much right now a hybrid of direct carrier and procured carrier in order to get this service. Now, what is important is this. We take a value for money approach. We stand on the side of safety. For years, money was wasted. We will make sure that we are able to sustain the service and reinvest in it to keep it strong, because let's understand, this is about Manitobans who live in the north, live in remote locations, and we want to make sure the service is provided to them for years to come.
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Member for River Heights on a final supplementary.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, this NDP-PC hybrid is just not working. There is a quality issue as well as a cost issue. The in-house Life Flight service uses jet airplanes which are faster than the turboprop planes used by contracted air services. The use of the jet airplanes is really important for safety and for timeliness of flights into many communities, as the turboprop planes may take up to 2 hours longer for the round trip to some northern communities. And in such instances, time is life. I understand there was a critical incident last year in which a person died because the flight wasn't quick enough. Will the government release today the full critical incident report?
The Honourable First Minister.
Not accepting any of the preamble of the member, I have to ask him if he has such instant gratification answers, Madam Speaker, that would solve the problem so well. Why doesn't he share them with the Liberal government in Nova Scotia, which uses totally private sector Life Flight services, or the former Premier of Ontario, Kathleen Wynne, who moved totally 100% to private services, or the former Liberal government in New Brunswick, which was 100% private provision. Madam Speaker, for critical air ambulance, the BC government, the Yukon Territory, Alberta, Nova Scotia, Ontario, New Brunswick, the Northwest Territories, all of them, Mr. Speaker, do the opposite of what the member's recommending. There must be a reason why.